Welcome back to Crimes and Chat. I'm your host, Chip Dawson, and we're diving into part 2 of our chilling series on the County Line Killer. If you missed last week's episode, we covered Amanda Reyes' heartbreaking story, the first known victim in this case, but today we'll be focusing on Lindsay Harper, the second woman to fall prey to this elusive murderer.
And I am Dayle Harris, your co-host and true crime confidant. Lindsay's story is both haunting and perplexing, and we'll see how her tragic fate started to draw chilling parallels to Amanda's murder. But before we get into that, Chip, how's Milo been this week? Still causing trouble?
Oh, Milo's doing great. He's behaving, for now. Though I did catch him trying to sneak into my office while I was writing up today's episode notes. I think he's ready to be our third host. How about you, Dayle? Any more culinary adventures to report?
I'll have you know I made progress. My risotto actually came out edible this time. No tears, no fire alarms, just creamy perfection.
Look at you, Gordon Ramsay in the making. But speaking of fire alarms, this case feels like one that should have set off warning bells from the start. Lindsay Harper's story is a tough one, and it left Maple Ridge shaken to its core.
Absolutely. And for those just tuning in, here's a quick recap of Amanda Reyes' case. Amanda, a 27-year-old artist, was found near an abandoned barn just outside Maple Ridge. The sheriff's department hasn't revealed much, but we know her death was violent and deliberate.
Despite their best efforts, or so they say, the authorities are still without a suspect. Which brings us to Lindsay Harper, a 32-year-old mother of 2 who went missing just 3 weeks after Amanda's body was discovered. Lindsay's case raised even more questions, and honestly, it's where the pieces of this disturbing puzzle started to fall into place.
Lindsay lived on the outskirts of Maple Ridge, close to the county line. She worked as a nurse and was well loved in her community. The last time anyone saw her, she was leaving her night shift at the hospital.
That was June 12th, right? Around 11:30 p.m.?
Yep. She stopped at a convenience store on her way home to pick up some milk. Surveillance footage shows Lindsay chatting with the cashier and then walking to her car. After that, nothing. She never made it home.
Her husband reported her missing the next morning when she didn't come back to get the kids ready for school. 3 days later, her car was found abandoned in a wooded area about 15 miles from where Amanda's body had been discovered.
And what made Lindsay's case even more unsettling was what they found inside the car. Her wallet and phone were untouched, but there was a single piece of rope in the back seat.
Right, that rope would later become a key link between Lindsay and Amanda. The police confirmed it was the same type of rope found near Amanda's crime scene, but let's pause here and listen to part of the sheriff's statement from the day Lindsay's car was found.
Good afternoon. As you're all aware, the Maple Ridge community is reeling from the recent discovery of Lindsay Harper's abandoned vehicle. We are actively pursuing every lead, but at this time, we cannot disclose details about her whereabouts or the circumstances surrounding her disappearance. We are aware of growing concerns about a potential connection between Lindsay's case and the recent murder of Amanda Reyes. While it is too early to confirm any direct link, I can assure you that our investigators are examining all possibilities. We ask for your continued support and vigilance. If you have any information that could help us locate Lindsay or assist in this case, please reach out to the sheriff's department immediately.
It's a lot of, we can't disclose details again. I get the need for confidentiality, but come on, people are scared.
And rightfully so. 2 women, both in their 20s or 30s, both vanishing near the county line. It's hard not to see a pattern here.
But here's where it gets even stranger. According to police records, they brought in 2 people for questioning around this time. One was Lindsay's coworker, a hospital janitor, who claimed he saw her arguing with someone in the parking lot after her shift.
And the other?
A man who worked at the convenience store where Lindsay was last seen. Let's hear a clip from the interrogation with the coworker first.
You mentioned seeing Lindsay in the parking lot that night. Can you tell us more about what you saw?
Yeah, I was leaving around the same time. She was standing near her car and this guy was there, tall, wearing a baseball cap. They were arguing about something. I didn't hear much, just her saying, "I don't have time for this."
Did you recognize the man?
No, I've never seen him before.
And you didn't think to call anyone or intervene?
I thought it was just a personal thing. I didn't want to get involved.
I don't know about you, Chip, but that guy sounds shady.
Totally. And then there's the convenience store clerk who couldn't remember anything unusual except a white truck that had been parked near the store for over an hour.
A white truck? That's suspicious, especially since it came up again later in the investigation.
Exactly. The police started connecting the dots, but it still felt like they were miles away from solving this, and of course, they weren't giving the public much to work with.
Meanwhile, Lindsay's family was left to agonize over her disappearance, and the community grew more and more anxious. 2 women, 2 unspeakable tragedies, and no clear answers. Let's hear what the Maple Ridge residents had to say about all of this.
This is Tracy Moore reporting live from Maple Ridge, where the unsettling disappearance of Lindsay Harper has the entire town on edge. Earlier today, we heard from Sheriff Douglas, who reiterated the department's commitment to solving this case, but acknowledged that there are still no suspects at this time. The growing fear among residents has led to heightened security measures in this typically quiet town. Here's what one Maple Ridge resident, Carol Fisher, had to say about the recent events.
It's just unreal. Maple Ridge is the kind of place where you know everyone, where you feel safe leaving your car unlocked or even your front door open during the day. Not anymore. Now, it's all anyone talks about. People are locking up, double-checking windows, and honestly, I don't blame them. I mean, the FBI coming here? Who would have thought we'd ever see that in Maple Ridge? It's terrifying.
The FBI has officially joined the investigation, a move that underscores just how serious and complex this case has become. Many residents here are hoping their involvement will bring much-needed answers. And soon. Back to you in the studio.
Whoa, Dayle, the FBI stepping in, that's huge.
It is. But it also says a lot about the state of this case. No suspects, no solid leads, and now federal involvement? It's a wake-up call for Maple Ridge.
And poor Carol. Her fear is what so many people must be feeling right now, to think a town that was once so quiet and safe is now locking doors during the day.
It's heartbreaking. And it makes you wonder, how does a killer like this operate so effectively in such a small, tight-knit community?
That's the question, isn't it? And it's one we'll keep exploring as we unravel Lindsay's story and see how it connects to the bigger picture. We'll stop here for now, but next week we'll cover the 3rd victim, Rachel Porter, whose story would finally bring this case to a breaking point.
And trust me, you don't want to miss it. Rachel's case brought to light some of the most terrifying details about the county line killer and left investigators with a critical clue.
Thanks for tuning in to Crimes and Chat, and as always, stay curious, stay cautious, and stay safe. See you next week.